Dear students, welcome to the video lecture on lasers. In the earlier class, in the first class, we have discussed about the basics of laser, understood the meaning of radiation, matter, then the interaction of radiation with the matter with the help of induced absorption, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Let us go for the important topic of this class, that is the expression for energy density in terms of Einstein's coefficient. Okay, so energy density you have already learned in the earlier class. So what happens in case of the radiation? Here this is the radiation. This radiation consists of large number of photons. It consists of photons like this, stream of photons. So once this you have, when you have the stream of photons, this can be represented with the energy density u mu into d mu. This is the energy density that is associated with the radiation. We can say that it is an energy in simple words, okay, but it is energy per unit volume for the radiation, okay. That is known as the energy density equation, u mu into d mu. Okay, clear? So you have already come across this energy density. Then what is this Einstein's coefficient, the new term that we have here? Okay, a new term that you have here. What is this Einstein's coefficient? So Einstein's coefficient gives you the probability of occurrence of the absorption and emission process whenever, keep in mind, whenever the radiation interacts with the matter. Got it? So whenever the radiation interacts with the matter, what is the chance that the absorption takes place? What is the chance that an emission takes place? Here I have the system, okay, a matter. It is consisting of large number of atoms in it. Okay, now here this is the radiation that is present. So this radiation consists of photons, large number of photons. I have shown only one photon because of the space availability. So once the photon of this radiation interacts with the matter, that means matter means here it's atom, there is a chance that absorption can occur. There is also a chance that an emission can occur. So what is that chance that absorption or emission can occur is given by this Einstein's coefficient. Okay, so therefore Einstein's coefficient gives you the probability of occurrence of the emission and absorption process when a radiation interacts with the matter. It gives you the probability. What is the probability of absorption? What is the probability of emission? Okay, so this is nothing but the Einstein's coefficient. Okay, now you take this diagram, very important diagram you have. It's a representative diagram, not actually taking place in the same way, but you can use it. So here this is a radiation has a frequency mu. Okay, this is a matter. The matter is consisting of large number of atoms. Few are in the E1 state, few are in a E2 state. You're getting the point? So when a radiation interacts with the matter, okay, there can be absorption or there can be an emission. So there are emission of two types: spontaneous emission and induced emission. So when the radiation interacts with the matter, so the photons, they go on interacting with the atom. So depending upon the state of the atom, there can be an absorption or there can be an emission. Okay, clear? So remember this diagram. So according to this Einstein's theory, the light radiation of frequency mu, as I told you, is a stream of photons of a bundle of photons of energy E equal to h mu, of energy E equal to h mu. This is the energy of the photon, and the energy density of the radiation is given by u mu into d mu equal to 8 pi h mu cube by c cube into 1 over e raised to h mu by kBt minus 1. Okay, so this is the energy density equation for the radiation. Okay, now the matter is assumed to be a large collection of atoms, and the atoms are associated with the energies. The energy levels of the atom, I have taken it as E1 and E2. In this case there may be E3 also, and such that E2 is greater than E1. The number of atoms in E1 state is represented by N1. The number of atoms in the E2 state, they are represented by N2. So here population of E1, I would say that it has N1. Population of E2, it is make it as E2. It is E2 is taken as N2. Okay, so when a radiation interacts with the matter, there are three possibilities: induced absorption, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Okay. So let us go for the first one. What is induced absorption? It is a process where the photon is absorbed by the atom which is in the lower energy state. This is the atom in the lower energy state. A photon interacts with the atom. So the energy of the photon is right. That is, right means it is having the energy equal to difference of these two energy levels. Therefore, this photon is absorbed. After absorption, the atoms moves to the higher energy state or the excited state. Okay, so it moves to the higher energy state. This is called as induced absorption. This is true for only one atom, but when we have a collection of atoms where they are absorbing the photons from the radiation, in that case I can define rate of induced absorption. Now what I can define? Rate of induced absorption. So the rate of induced absorption is nothing but the number of induced absorption per unit time per unit volume. Okay, per unit time per unit volume is known as the rate of induced absorption. So this rate of induced absorption depends upon the number of atoms in the lower energy state. Now here, to have absorption of photon, you should have atoms first of all. Those atoms should be able to absorb the photon. When they are able to absorb, when they are in the lower energy state, higher energy state atoms will not absorb the atoms because they are already in the excited state. Got it? So therefore it depends upon the number of atoms in the lower energy state. Similarly, it depends upon the energy density. Why? Because you require an external photon. For a single atom, one photon is sufficient, but we have n number of atoms. So therefore, I cannot take only one photon. Therefore, a collection of photons I can represent with the help of energy density. Therefore, if I combine all those three, that is all these two, I can write a rate of induced absorption is proportional to n1, number of atoms in the lower energy state, in as well as the energy density. If I remove this proportionality sign, I get B12, where B12 is a new term, Einstein's coefficient for induced absorption. So this is the first one. You can make out what is the proportionality, that what is the probability that the absorption can takes place. Okay. So similarly, we can do the same thing for the spontaneous emission as well as stimulated emission. Okay. So let us go for the spontaneous emission. In case of spontaneous emission, when an atom is in the higher energy state, it moves to the lower energy state, okay, on its own without any external energy giving out a photon. Okay, once it gives a photon, okay, it is acting as a spontaneous emission. Okay, but it is true for only one atom. But when we have a collection of atoms, we say that the spontaneous emission should be given by rate. So rate of spontaneous emission, the rate of spontaneous emission is defined as the number of spontaneous emissions per second per unit volume. So the rate of spontaneous emission depends upon only the number of atoms in the higher energy state. They are not depending upon the atoms in the lower energy state. To have emission of photon, atom should be in the higher energy state. Also, it is independent of the energy. Therefore, there is no energy density radiation or energy density equation. So therefore, if I combine this this equation, rate of spontaneous emission is proportional to n2. If I remove the proportionality sign, I get a constant A21, that is known as the proportionality constant, called as the Einstein's coefficient for spontaneous emission. Einstein's coefficient for spontaneous emission. Okay, so this is the case for spontaneous emission. Similarly, I can do it for stimulated emission. So for stimulated emission, what happens when an atom is in the lower energy state, sorry, when the atom is in the excited state, if a passing photon of appropriate energy is made to pass through it, then pass near the photon will make the atom to go back to the lower energy state. When it goes back to the lower energy state, it emits one additional photon, therefore you get two photons. This process is called as the stimulated emission. So this is true for only the case when we have only one atom, but we have a large number of atoms in a matter. All those atoms, they are going to have stimulated emission. Therefore, I can define rate. What I can define? I can define rate of stimulated emission. How to define rate of stimulated emission? The rate of stimulated emission is defined as the number of stimulated emissions per second per unit volume. That means how many stimulated emissions are taking per second. Rate means per second you are identifying number of stimulated emissions per second per unit volume is called as rate of stimulated emission. So this rate of stimulated emission depends upon two parameters. First, you should have number of atoms in the E2 state, more number. So therefore, N2 is the number of atoms in the E2 state, it should be higher. And second thing, it depends upon the energy density. We require an external photon for one atom to have stimulated emission, but we have a collection of atoms. Therefore, energy density is required. Therefore, it depends upon the energy density. The rate of stimulated emission depends upon, when I combine these two, the uh, atoms in the higher energy state N2 and the energy density. If I remove the porosity sign, I get a constant B21 called as the Einstein's coefficient for stimulated emission. So we have defined the rate equation for all the three process: absorption, that is induced absorption, spontaneous emission, and the stimulated emission. Let us combine all those three in one sheet and put it like this. So the energy density of radiation, okay, is given by 1, rate of induced absorption is given by 2, rate of spontaneous emission is given by 3, rate of stimulated emission is given by equation number 4. Now the next part is very simple. Okay, we have to use the concept of thermal equilibrium. So keep in mind, at thermal equilibrium the rate of absorption, so this is the thermal equilibrium state. Let us assume it here, this is the matter. The rate of absorption will be equal to the rate of emission, will be equal to the rate of emission. So using this idea, okay, using this idea I can, okay, so using this idea I can evaluate the energy density. The rate of absorption should be equal to the rate of emission. Okay, so this is the matter, so the rate, this is the absorption process, this is the emission process. The absorption should be equal to the emission. Okay, so using this idea, okay, I can evaluate the energy density. Okay, now I have used that concept to find the energy density. On the rate of absorption is on the left hand side, and the rate of emission, there are two types of emission: spontaneous emission as well as stimulated emission. They are on the right hand side. Rate of absorption will be equal to the rate of emission. There are two types of emissions, so therefore you have to consider both. So we have already defined the rate of emission, rate of absorption for the earlier cases, that is spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Okay, you have to substitute these values: RIA, RSP dot E, RST dot E. So these are rate equations from equation number 2, 3 and 4 in equation 5. If I do the substitution, you get it. Okay, so B12 N1 into U mu equal to A21 N2 plus B21 N2 into U mu. Now next is just mathematical part. There is no physics. You have to just go on doing mathematics. Now I am interested to find the energy density here, U mu, okay, in terms of A and B. Therefore my aim is to find the, or is to arrange this equation so that it appears on the left hand side. This is the aim, this is my aim, so that I go on doing that work, okay, so that I get it in the left hand side. Let us see how I am doing it. Okay, okay, now here this step, what I have done in the previous case, I have brought this last second right hand, second term on the right hand side, second term on the right hand side to this LHS and rearranged it to get U mu. Okay, let us see how it is. Okay, okay, so this is the left hand side. I have arranged it for U mu. Okay, then again simplified one step, then again one more simplification. Here this step, I think this step is clear. Here what I have done, I have brought this N2, taken this N2 outside. Okay, the second term, okay, I have taken it as a common in the denominator. So once I have taken N2 as a denominator, I have to rearrange it. Okay, what I have done, I have taken the, sorry, B21 N2 both I have taken as common. Okay, I have brought it outside. So when I brought it outside, you have to do the readjustment here so that you get this equation. Then taking again, these two steps are same, only I have separated N1 by N2. Okay, so this is what you get on rearranging here. N1 by N2, This is the term that we have rearranged it. I have to substitute using the Boltzmann's relation. If I do the Boltzmann relation, from Boltzmann relation, n2 by n1 is the ratio of population. So it is given by e raised to h minus h mu by kbt, or it is e raised to h mu by kbt. Substitute it here, get the value for u mu in the next step. Okay, this is what you get. This is the final equation. This is the final equation. Okay, 8. But here I have to compare this with equation number 1. Why? Because this is also energy density, this is also energy density. If I compare them on comparison, you will see that the right hand side, the first term is A21 by B21 for the equation 8, and 1 it is 8 pi h mu cube. So therefore I have to equate these two. Then here in the second term for 8 I have 1 over B12 divided by B21 into e raised to h mu by kbt minus 1. Here also there is e raised to h mu by kbt by 1 minus 1 for the denominator. So therefore here I can equate this part to this one. Here in the denominator, preceding e raised to h mu by kbt minus kbt, there is nothing means 1. Therefore this will be treated as 1. This will be treated as 1. Clear? So you have to equate. Which are the equations? We have to equate this part, first part. Second part, this one should be equated to this. Okay, both are similar. You are getting the point. Now here e raised to h mu by kbt, here also e raised to h mu by kbt. Preceding this e raised to h mu by kbt, there is nothing means 1 here. Okay, so therefore I have to equate these two. After doing the equation equating, I get this term. Okay, a to 1 by b to 1 equal to 8 pi h mu cube by c cube, and the second one is b12 by b21 equal to 1. Therefore I can write b12 equal to b21. So it is given by b12 equal to b21. What is b12? B12 is the probability of induced absorption. It is nothing but Einstein's coefficient for induced absorption. So it is the probability of induced absorption. What is B21? It is the probability of stimulated emission. So therefore from this equation I can say that the rate of induced absorption, or the probability of induced absorption, is equal to the probability of stimulated emission. Keep in mind. Okay, this equation B12 by B21. Final result what we get here is the probability of induced absorption is equal to the probability of stimulated emission. Okay, there is one more result here. Continue with this. Okay, here we have A21. It is the Einstein's coefficient for spontaneous emission. You're getting the point. So there is only one A term. If you go on searching, there is no A12. There is only one A21, that is spontaneous emission. Einstein coefficient for spontaneous emission. So therefore there is only one A. I can take it as A only instead of taking A21, just to have simplification. And second thing is there are two B's. B12 probability of induced absorption and B21 probability of stimulated emission. In the last part we have proved that both are same. If both are same, I can call it as common term B. B stands for both rate of probability of induced absorption, probability of stimulated emission. You are getting the point. B means both. It is representing both probability of induced absorption, probability of stimulated emission. Okay, clear? So go for the last part. If you rearrange the term, okay, we get u mu equal to a by b. Here I have the equation number 8. Here a by b, A21 I have to replace with a, this term. A should be, A21 should be replaced with a, B21 should be replaced by b, B12 by B21 should be replaced with 1. That's all. If I do it, then I get this equation as a by b into 1 over e raised to h mu by kbt minus 1. Okay, so this is the equation for the energy density. Okay, so this equation gives you the energy density in terms of Einstein's coefficient. Here a A is the probability of spontaneous emission. A to 1 are A. By B, what is B? B is the probability of induced absorption, or B is the probability of stimulated emission. So basically A by B means it is a ratio of uh, uh, absorption, sorry, a ratio of spontaneous emission to the rate of probability of spontaneous emission to the probability of induced absorption, or probability of stimulated emission. Okay, and this is 1 over e raised to h mu by kbt. So this is a equation that we are interested to solve it, okay, to get it. So in the examination you get it, it's a very important question. So here if you just go through the video, it is not possible to understand. You have to take a paper and pen, go on writing the points one after the other, just like a class. That will help you. Otherwise it is very difficult to follow this step. So keep in mind, very important question. Solve this one as many times as you want. If you have any issues, please contact me. Okay, thank you for the time.